Hello, year 8. Okay, so well done so much for what you did on Monday. Loads of people handled what was quite a difficult poem, both in terms of what it's about, the content of it, and also some of the messages in it, which seems relatively simple on the surface, but you've got to actually really concentrate to get more out of it. And you did really well. So I think you're going to do terrifically today because we're just continuing thinking about similar themes. People really responded well to the wonderful Ghanaian funeral pallbearers who are just fantastic, and I love them as an example of how you can reimagine what sometimes, as you proved with your first task, what can sometimes be a very stereotypical um, cultural moment. Funerals, maybe they don't need to be exactly the way that we imagine them straight away when we think of the images and the words that come to mind. Maybe they can be different, as those people were showing. So today, what I've got for you first, after you finish with this video, is you're going to read an article. It's not very long. It's from a New York Times series called Modern Love, in which they talked to people about the way that love in the modern world seems to work. It was very famous when it came out, and it's got a large audience of people very interested in the works of this writer, Amy Krouse Rosenthal, who has now died. So she writes this article that you'll read, and I want you to get your experience of it and your reaction to it. She writes this article in the paper shortly before her death as a letter to someone potentially in the future who might meet her husband, which is why she's called the article "You May Want to Marry My Husband." So I really recommend you read it. If you want, it's fantastic. There's a version of it that's you can listen to, in which an actress performs the article out loud. It's really good. I highly recommend that if you don't want to read it. I certainly know that it affected me emotionally when I first heard this quite a long time ago, and I thought that it went well with Ghanaian pallbearers because as you move on, I want you to think about what emotions it makes you feel. What might the writer have been feeling in order to be able to write this? What does it take to say this? What would have been difficult about it? Because with Ghanaian pallbearers, they're offering a different take on funerals, and I think this article seems to offer a different suggestion to what we would assume people would feel about their loved one in this situation. At the end of it, please do take a little break. You will have earned it. Take a little break, walk around, and then move on to the second part, where you're going to just be answering two quick questions. The first one is about a vaulter. So, vaulter is a technical term that basically just means the turn. That's why I've highlighted it in these two different colours. First half of the poem, second half of the poem. 8 lines, 6 lines. The octet, the sestet. So usually an octet, the first part, will set up some sort of problem. I think we found out on Monday that the problem is they desperately want to be remembered. And then I want you to look at the second half and think about what do they want in the second half and how is that different to the first part. So just write a brief summary of how their mood, what they want, changes in the second section. Then, to round it all off, a few drawing tasks, because I want you to really think about the last image that the poet leaves us with in the poem, because the final image is often something they really want us to savour. So I want you to draw scenario number 1 and scenario number 2 for how life could go in the future. If you have drawn it, take a photo of it, then go to insert, as I've said, in this image. You can upload it if you upload it to the Drive on your, if you get the Drive app or on a computer or from Google Photos, or you can just take it from the camera. You can take a picture directly of it if you're using a phone. If you're using a computer, I imagine it's probably quickest to upload it to the Drive app and then go into it that way. So just do 2 drawings. They do not need to be amazing. It can be stickman. It can be anything. All right then. Good luck. Have a lovely day.